fra Ådalen. Udsendelsen er bragt i samarbejde med vores 3 partnere, Fynske Bank, Webro og Lokalbolig. God fornøjelse med udsendelsen.
Det er noget, man drikker.
Har I oplevet noget lignende? Jeg har sgu ikke det.
Så byder vi velkommen til Stemmer fra Ådalen og en særlig sæsonafslutning. I dag skal vi bruge den næste times tid sammen med OB's cheftræner Alexander Zorniger. Og det er mig, Martin Davidsen, og jeg sidder her sammen med Peter Brix. Hej Peter.
Hej Martin.
Det her bliver jo ikke et klassisk optagsinterview eller hurtig mixzone-snak efter en kamp. Det er en længere samtale om sæsonen, om udviklingen i OB, kulturen i klubben og om fremtiden selvfølgelig. Og udsendelsen er bragt i samarbejde med vores 3 partnere, Fynske Bank, Webro og Lokalbolig. Og vi siger mange tak til dem, der kommer lige nogle få budskaber fra dem undervejs. And now, let's talk English. Alexander, thanks you for joining us today.
Selvfølgelig.
We'll do it in English, it's okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Not German. Your first full season at OB is now complete. When you look back at it, what is the first feeling and thoughts coming to your mind?
Well, we are still missing a proper analysis of the last season, then of this ending season. Then the season is done, but that will take a little while. I got a lot of information, a lot of talks, a lot of numbers now, and now I will put that together. But in general, I think it was the season I couldn't say I hoped for, but after a little while, I was hoping that it's going in that direction. I think we played a good season. We didn't play a very good season. Too many ups and downs, too many goals conceded. Other reasons why we shouldn't be happy. But also on the other side, we were fighting in the Grundspiel as well as in the relegation matches until the second last game day for something, and not against something. And I think that was a conclusion that was worth something, because when I see it was the first time that I was part of a relegation group, and the way the tableau developed with losses or wins, if we would have the losses at the beginning, that it could really go into a wrong direction, like you saw it also. I mean, somebody has to go into the relegation, but does it have to be necessarily Fredericia or Vejle, the way they kicked our butt in the first home match, or in the 4-0 defeat in Vejle? If somebody would have told me they will be relegated, I would have said then it must be really a very strong league. So we were not really involved in anything that has to do with the relegation. Of course, we created also hopes. But in general, for me, I'm stepping out of this season with not having the full analysis done, and saying, yeah, this was the step we hoped for.
Okay. And you have often talked about building a new foundation in OB. When you compare the team and the club today with your first day in the club 1 year ago, what is the biggest difference?
Yeah, well, I think we created some hope for a little bit brighter future than the past was. I see this big club is still struggling with the past, so I still see that that being afraid of something is more likely than hoping for something. Yeah, I think we spoke already in the past about these the type of persons hoping for success or fearing that the missing success, and I think I can see that I can feel that sometimes still the change of momentum is still too massive when things are going in one or the other direction, and if we will continue like that, then it will be it will be difficult to keep a really founded, a really massive, stable foundation for what we are doing, because the next foundation should be on a higher level than the foundation we have right now, and therefore we need again patience, and we need again the knowledge from everybody involved, the fans, everybody working in the club, the board, the owners, that we are going in general in the right direction.
This topic of around fear and hope, where do you see that in your everyday work here in the club? Because I can really understand what you're talking about from a fan perspective, and I get that you maybe sometimes have fans shouting after the match, and you're talking with a fan in the grocery shop or something. But do you also feel it from the high level club members, old players, or the player group, or the staff, or is it a culture who is really embedded in every segment around the club, or is it?
I think when it's a very good question. Yeah, it's a very good question. There was nobody coming to me and saying after Vejle, hey, how could you leave? How could you lose against Vejle? If there's a possibility, please leave the country. And when we won the next game, he said, is there any chance that you will become our next national team coach? Yeah, so it is not. It's a very good question, but being experienced like I am, you can read it when you are sitting next to somebody, in their eyes, in the way they are touching their hands, in the way they are looking at you or trying to look through you or to another person. So you can feel that. It's not like, I said it also in the after the match when we have been when I had a short talk with the fans. There was one game against Sønderjyske when I had a battle with one of the fans, because he said, how can we, as a proud OB, struggle so much? We had a very bad second half against Sønderjyske at home. How can we struggle against Sønderjyske? Yeah, this is usually the behavior you are showing when it's going downwards. I had that same behavior in Germany as well. Yeah, we are a proud traditional club. Yeah. Just because the opponent will hear our name, they should die on the pitch. Yeah, it's not like that. Yeah, we have to make things in the correct way. But you can sometimes, the change of mood of persons over a period of a year is I think a little bit easier to read when you have the experience like I do. Is that a proper answer?
Of course, and if it's okay, I will stay there just for one more question, because I can admit I am definitely one of the burnt children. We have a term in the podcast, we call it a burnt child. For you have experienced something in your childhood, in quote, in the club. So I think it's, I live around the club. Now I do the podcast. I love the club. I come here, but I'm also a bad influence in some ways. But I have my history with me, and I know there's so many like me, and we will try to support, and we will try to be there forever, and have the tattoo and bring our children up, and we are all a part of a pressure and a problem, Peter, and a potential.
I don't feel that.
Okay,
I think the fans are by far the have the lowest influence on supporting these passiveness of these negative awareness of things. Yeah, it's just also it's difficult for me to talk about it because I'm not this burden child.
No,
yeah, I'm in general a lucky child throughout my whole career. I was lucky enough and good enough to win titles. Yeah, to have much more positive experiences out of my job than negative. When people were thinking about maybe we will be relegated, I told them also I was never relegated in my life. Why should I start with it right now? So when you did not experience whatever you experienced in the past, then you see, of course, the glass more half full than half empty. Yeah. Even though I'm in general a person who is trying to think about every possibility, what could happen when I'm having a talk with one player. I know they are talking with each other. What could be the consequence? So I think these straight thinking, these straight acting helps me a lot to not think too much about what could go wrong.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it must be. How is it to come to a club with a very a fan base who's very hungry? Peter is missing those glory days and has been missing it for 15 years, but you can't do anything about it because you're new in this club. But the people the team is playing in front of, they
I'm not trying to change things I cannot influence.
Okay. Yeah.
If anybody will be disappointed about the season this year because we didn't make it into top 6 because we whatever, not my problem. It's his problem. Yeah, I think in general, if you want to, if OB wants to win something in the future, it cannot happen from one day to the other. We need to make the right steps at the right time with the right people, and these right people might be me and Truls right now. I think there were a couple of guys trying to lift that heavy tanker OB on a better level, and now we have the chance. Therefore, I think permanently staying in the past, thinking what went wrong, and I know what I'm talking about because I'm German. You get tired of that at one point.
Okay. And I actually think that if I am a spokesperson today for the Burnt Child Federation, I can say that we all are very patient, but we have this scar where we, as you say, go maybe sometimes from heaven to hell between 3 rounds in the Super League, from wanting the coach sacked to making a bronze statue of him in the center. So I think it's. My question is it something you can harvest, because it's a big energy? There's a big following in the group, in the club. There's many people attending the stadium. There are many people listening to this. I could imagine we have the same club situation all around Europe. Big clubs from big cities failing in the modern game with a hungry fan base, a lot of pressure, a lot of energy. Is it something you have to shield mostly the players from, or can you harvest this sour and sweet energy? Is it possible?
That was a really long question.
Yeah, I know.
It was a Peter question.
Actually, again, I cannot influence how other people are feeling. I just know when you're talking about old traditional clubs all over the world, usually they didn't change anything when they didn't change something in their mindset. Could be a people's mindset. If you're permanently expecting that it will go the wrong way and just hoping somewhere in the back of your mind that maybe it goes in the right direction because for no reason, then you will not make the next steps. I think we have a plan, and if this right now is a more pessimistical behavior from the fans, then I'm looking very much forward to see the full power of the fans, because I feel supported in the city. This morning we had a sponsor meeting, in the talks with the sponsors, in the games, even though it was sometimes tough. I think it would be so easy to show your frustration if we are losing. But the number of behavior just based on frustration was so low that I come to the conclusion it must have been because the majority of the fans sees that there's an ongoing process, that there is a development in whatever we are doing. We had at the beginning of the season 2 less ball possession. Now we have too much. We are trying to balance a couple of things. We had at the beginning. We were a little bit too wild. Now we are not wild enough. It takes a little while. Years ago, when I was in Brøndby, a top manager of the Superliga told me, the speed you created something in Brøndby is for me the blueprint for every coach I'm talking to. If they are telling me something needs time, then I'm telling them, look to Zorniger, how he transformed a club together with the guys supporting him in a very short period. But in general, of course, if you want to change things on a stable base, it takes a little bit of time. And if somebody will tell me, we're going through the data also this year, and somebody will tell me, yeah, but there you dropped massively, which should have developed much better. Show me the results, and I will show him that maybe he's wrong.
But actually, we are quite curious about the playing style and the way the team is performing in the pitch. And now you said it yourself, maybe too wild in the beginning, maybe not wild enough now. When one of our colleagues met you at the press conference where you were presented as a new coach, he asked you, what can we expect? And you said, do you mean that question? You know me, you know, and we've been talking through the season. Is this how far are you in this journey, transforming OB to a Zorniger team, a team who plays the way we saw in Brøndby? And
we are still within the top 3 in one statistic I have on first position in the repressing actions. We are not good enough in passes per defensive actions, also because we get used to ball possession, and also because of some changes we made within different players. We have players who wants to go immediately into transition, but we also have players who want to control things. We lost numbers in the transition. We would like to find much faster the first pass deep, but this is also related to the players we have on the pitch. Noah is the player having the most deep runs in the whole league. Jay is another player. Jonah is also another player. So it depends whoever we have on the pitch. The structure of the game is also changing. I mean, it's not like, I don't know if you can compare that with FIFA, but that you're playing with a computer and just saying, my perfect player is having 95 in that and 87 in that and 55 in that. This is not how real football is working.
Is it some of your central midfield players who are lacking the right skill set in your dream style of play?
Or mindset.
Mindset, yeah.
No, it's not about lacking in general.
Okay.
It's about after each national team break, after the winter and also after the March, we were adapting things. And when you're adapting things, like also changing the formation, for example, showing them also some datas, using the knowledge in the way we are training, also having half a year, definitely too much for the way we would like to play regarding aggressivity. But if somebody ever played on an artificial pitch, you cannot support an aggressive playing style.
No.
But if you have all these things to take into consideration, it's also about the small details. About now we moved a little bit too much in ball possession. That has immediately an influence on maybe possible deep runs. But you cannot say again, like on a computer, now we have 2 deep runs less than we would like to have. So please change that. It's also a general behavior. Players in general have a basic mentality, a basic playing style also. We have some players where it's really difficult also to change their playing style in general. We brought 6 players in, 5 of them, and the goalkeeper situation was a special one. 5 of them became almost immediately a regular starter. At the beginning of the season, over a very long period, we had 7 starters from last year and 4 new brought-in players. Now we have the other way around. Now we have 4 players and 7 players who haven't played that much, also included like players like McCoy, players like Julius Esker, and so on. That had an influence as well on the playing style in general. But it shows also that we are working on things, that we are developing also things. I have to praise the team from last year, because winning something, ask Aalborg right now, is really difficult, also in the first division. But this team out of the last 15 matches, has won only 5. It was not like they were going through the first division like a knife through butter. Yeah. So and putting all these things together needed a little bit of time.
Yeah.
So, and even though there have been a lot of games, I think, which you can put on the screen and say, this is how we want to play.
100%.
Which games would you highlight as the blueprint?
In margins to get adapted the first game already against Midtjylland. Actually, we played better in the second half than in the first half, but we were 2-0 up. Then the first very important victory against the top team was the Aarhus match at home in the cup. Where we beat them also 1-0. And Aarhus, again, congrats for winning the championship, even though I don't like to congratulate somebody else than ourselves. But they were over the season also related to Midtjylland, the best team with the best individual quality. Midtjylland was not in all aspects a team over the whole season. It was the Aarhus match for sure. It was the Copenhagen victory we had afterwards. We lost against them one game in 4 matches overall. We had really good games at home against, for example, we beat 2 times Viborg. We also had 3 losses against Silkeborg and only 1 draw, with 9.8 expected goals for us and 6.0 against us. So it's also, when somebody's just using the shortcut for whatever, then he's right, yes. But he's only right in his world.
But you also yourself talked about stability, as I think you have been hunting the whole season. Is that because of the things you said before? New players, the pitches, stuff like that, time, that you're still searching for stability in the performances over.
I think
over
as a
time.
coach, you never stop searching for stability. I don't know how your life is running, but most likely you would also like to have it have a bigger stability in some areas. This is when you won something, then sometimes it looked like you have reached the final stability, but usually you did not, because you know exactly that you won this game in minute 89, or that you were really lucky with referee's decision. Can I be fined for saying that?
Yeah. No.
If I'm just saying it now?
No.
I think it's okay.
Okay, good luck. There are some rules difficult to accept. But in general, it's. I think we are aiming for an even higher number of stability, but it's not like you can create stability at the same time in all areas. I tried to explain that now for quite a while. When we are creating more stability in our game with the ball, we might lose automatically stability in our chaos. Which makes maybe no sense, but there are. It's like you have all your technical equipment here. When you're putting one, how do you say in Germany, it's called Regler. When you put it up a little bit, then sometimes one is going automatically down. So keep that in place is sometimes a little bit tricky.
Okay, makes sense.
Alex, I just had a specific question to the points you were talking about in the season, with the highlighting some of the games. For me, the Brøndby away game was in some way a defining moment in the season for me. I'm not sure if you agree. The 5-1 defeat, in my opinion, you actually played a very, very good game, and you had some good chances, and you were of course open in the back. Can you remember in that time of period, was it at that moment that you began to readjust your ambition with the style of play and the aggressivity and
It was also the Brøndby game, but if you're going, I'm not able to, but if you're going goal by goal through that game, are you sure that we were too open in the backline?
No.
We had in the analysis of our goals so far, we had by far too many goals where we had a number up in the box, but we were not aggressive enough. We were not good enough in the individual duel behavior to stop the opponents. I remember one goal against Aarhus. I remember 2 goals against Aarhus. I remember a goal against Fredericia, where they were just going through our lines with having a compactness, but not being sharp enough in these defending the goal with your life. Yeah, and this went through the whole season. But I agree in general that that we have possibilities in the offense, but that we, especially against the top teams, we conceded too many goals.
And also, if we look at one simple number, the goals conceded, you also told me a few weeks ago, it was in the Grundspiel. This was the most problem with a lot of goals conceded. Is that because you have adjusted a little bit in the way you're playing to avoid chance against you? Did you do that?
Yeah, we did it, but it also had to do something with the change of the system. In fall.
Yeah.
We had in the first 11 matches we conceded 28 goals. In the second 11 matches we conceded 18 goals. So that's a drop of 10 goals. That's a lot in 11 matches. So one in average. We also had games where we gave away goal number 3 and 4 too easy because of frustration, because of and this has also something to do with the general behavior, how I respond to setbacks. But we were very good in responding from week to week. We mostly, when we had a loss, we won the next game, especially when we had a big loss. But to transfer that in a single match, that was the next step. And towards the end of the season, we had also some, I think about the FCK victory at home, where we scored in the last minutes, which was also one of our weakness over a period. We had the draw in the number down in runners also. So if you're, it's always how do you want to fake your statistic? When you want to go in one direction, you can choose that. If you want to go in the other direction, you can choose that. But in general, with having a very clear, and it makes no sense for me to fake my own statistic. A few on the season in general, then I'm looking for our bullet points, for our topics. How have we been in the repressing? How have we been in the pressing? How have we been in the transition? How have we been in our ball possession? How did we defend it and attack the set pieces? And then we can adapt to all the other things. Like we want to be now more flexible in our build-up game. We have some positions we can find easily because of our pure formation. We need to have backup solution, exit variations for the situations when the opponent is challenging us in a different way. But this is also difficult for one or the other player because he was never educated in that way.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe one last question on this topic.
Just if we can stay in the tactical.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Zorniger, you can just school me right now because when I'm sometimes, as you see, sometimes I sit at the pitch taking pictures and I get a completely different sense of the game. I think I have seen that you play more on the sides in the later part of the season. Is that correct?
No.
Nope. Okay. Because what I see is that you play sometimes Bürgi or Rasmus Falk is searching for the wide wing back. And in the start, I saw you train very much going through the middle. And I've seen you. It's like, have you changed that, or has that been?
It has adapted to the opponent also, but it is adapting in every situation. Our principal way of playing is use the massive number up situation in the center to find solutions. Therefore, we need to have the right position for the players. It makes a difference if you're watching completely towards your own goal, or if you have opened up your body 10 degrees or 20 degrees or 40 degrees. When we're finding the center, and like, for example, Silkeborg made it massively that they are closing the center, then they need to bring the majority of their players also inside to be able to do so. and then we should have the possibility to find the wing.
Yeah.
Then it's a massive. It makes a massive difference if the fullback is on the same height like the defense. If he's 10 meter towards our goal, 10 meters below, 30 meters below, and giving the opponent the possibility to shuffle to the side pretty quick. Yeah. So we created a little bit more, especially with the braveness of McCoy.
Yeah, exactly.
We created a little bit more, but we still have the tendency in too many situations to play backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have. I just pointed at Peter's screen because we have a question about this. You also commented before with the players. Now you have 7 new and 4 old players in OB. But to what extent have you had to compromise or adapt your tactical ideas over the past year to fit the profile and the maturity or quality of the players available? Do you think you have had to compromise?
Yeah, for sure. You're permanently in your life, you're making compromises. We are not good enough in the passes per defensive actions. And that is a clear signal that you are not permanently trying to put as fast as possible pressure to the opponent. This is related also to individual players. This is also related to takes a little bit longer because of they were not used to it. And if we're going through the team, do you think just the starters right now? Vilja is an experienced player with a lot of experience in playing on a high level over a very long period. Do you think he is? Vilja Muri?
Yes.
I think just playing. Yeah,
I would say yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you think McCoy has played a lot?
No.
Do you think Julius?
No.
Bergi?
Yes.
Yeah. Leroy.
Leroy, yes,
Yeah.
as well. Falk?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Kante?
Yes.
In a foreign country? Also, but
Yeah.
Great area. Yeah.
Fite?
No.
It's new for him.
Not at all.
Yeah.
To be decisive, to be hyped like young Jesus. That is doing something with these young people.
Yeah.
I think he played a marvelous first year, but his ups and downs were also too massive.
Yeah.
Do you think Max or Ansi?
No.
Do you think Noah?
No, there was
No.
a third
Or Jonah,
league,
no.
right?
Jonah?
No.
Jay? Yes.
Yeah.
So you see that we have quite a high number of players who were not used to fulfill the position, the expectation, in the way how they should fulfill it to be really stable in what we are doing.
But
So first of all, they have to stabilize their own. Sometimes they have to survive in their own way of playing the game before they can support and carry the overall game.
When I sit beside you on the pitch, I can hear you scream.
Everybody can hear you scream.
But sometimes
He hates that.
It sounds to me it's more like a positional frustration from you. Not, of course, you get frustrated by a bad pass, but it's more like a bad defensive run from the attacker or positioning from a midfielder.
Positioning and slow decision making.
Yeah.
That is what I hate.
Yeah.
Because I watched yesterday, unfortunately, Germany playing ice hockey, lost big. But when I see the decision making of hockey players, they have no time to be unhappy with whatever.
No.
And we are trying to explain everybody, it is not a bad next action should not be influenced by a bad first action. That is a waste of energy. That is a waste of also these showing somebody I could play it better.
Yeah.
This mistake was totally unknown for myself. No, it's not.
No.
No matter which player, the most player at all, they're making more mistakes than sometimes good actions.
Yeah.
Accept it, but have the focus for the next action. So what I'm really pissed in is if somebody is not accepting the game as it is. Show a reaction, show an effort, and not complaining about things. arms up, or arms down for showing, hey, slow down. That is something I would like to cut their arms off if I see that.
And you can see in Odense, you will quickly become a hero if you are like Noah Ganaus.
Or McCoy, he made that...
he made that return run, because Noah, when I have only known him for this year, of course, I have, in my opinion, never seen him complain about anything in training.
Giving up. Yeah, this is not his way of playing. It was also easy to see it was a very long season for him. Then it's again finding foundation, finding balance. You most likely have been told also, now we have to work on that, and now we have to work on that. And then all of a sudden, things are maybe not anymore stable in the same way like they were before. But he, in general, you can criticize him for a lot of things, but not about his mentality and attitude on the pitch.
And can I just follow up, Martin? Because it's so obvious to talk about J-Roy, because he had a thing in the training, but we all can see him making some of the things you hate, some of the things. But he's also, you said it yourself, he was a clear starter for you. How has the year been for you?
Yeah, he is an extraordinary player.
Yeah,
and if he could follow my mindset, what I expect from a player or what I see in him, he would play in another league. He would play in one of the top 4 leagues.
Okay.
But he made a decision in the same way like others as well. And sometimes these following my expectation of what he could do is so much against his own thoughts about life, about football. Yeah, in general, we love each other and we hate each other. But it is. He's a permanent challenge.
Yeah.
Like I'm a challenge for him as well. But if we would have 11 sheeps, we could win nothing. Yeah. So we need some wolves as well.
Yeah. But when I saw him in the start of the season, also again I referenced the being close to the pitch. This big guy. Pressuring the keeper, pressing the low phase one play from the opponent, really tough, fighting. I think he has it in him to play like that. But is it a mentality thing when he just snaps and just get frustrated with his game?
Oh, it's a couple of things. Yeah. First of all, we are all human beings. Things around can influence our performance as well. On the other side, it's his way of playing. Maybe doesn't always fit perfectly to my preferred way of playing. Yeah, to suffer so much on the pitch.
Yes, suffer
for themselves. I mean, we have one of the most dangerous offenses in the league. Yeah, we have with Noah Ganaus, one of the top scorers. We have related to game time, and we have also J-Roy with one of his best seasons. Yeah, if you compare just the pure numbers, but these reward that costs something, and this is tough. This can be easily. I mean, if you remember, are you smoking?
No.
Yeah, if you're smoking, me either.
No.
But if you want to stop smoking, I think the first 2 days are not the problem.
No.
Yeah, as much as I heard it.
No.
But to continue with it, to change your mindset in that is the problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we move on, just a quick note from one of our sponsors. Jeg tager det på dansk. Inden vi går videre, tak til vores partnere fra Webro, eksperterne i hjemmesider og SEO. Det er jo OB-brødrene Chris og Mark, der laver det. Tjek dem ud på webro.dk. And now English again.
Yeah.
This is actually an interesting topic, the players and the players group, because you said you said it with Jay. You love each other, you hate each other. How is your feeling with the players group? Are they in the same boat? Are you on the same page in the book?
What a question.
Yeah.
Of course we are.
Yeah.
And of course sometimes we are not. Yeah, this young generation of players is also different than 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to accept that also until a certain level. Whenever it's influencing the team in general, then the player is out, no matter what he's doing and no matter what's the name of the player. But I have this vision for every player. The way you don't know it, but I played the 4th league. I cannot convince the player because I tell him, hey, I tried that in Maracana, just follow me and then it will happen. I have to convince them in another way. So am I provocating players? 100%. Yeah? Can I lift players on another level? Follow my career so far. Yeah, I cannot even remember all the names I brought to another level, or at least I was involved in bringing them on another level. Yeah, if you want to, fine, but then we are working on the last 4% and not on 50%, and that hurts the most because then you got coached, other call it criticized, every single action, and this is also what Peter don't like, for example. I know where I can bring him. He's making the decision if he would like to go there or not.
Yeah, because my head is thinking in football history, and I remember reading the book about Michael Laudrup and he and his relationship with Johan Cruyff, the coach who brought him to his highest level, but also a relationship where they hurt each other in the way. So I'm just curious because it's very interesting to watch the training and the matches, and also when you talk to Julius, he had a big breakthrough this season. But I can also hear you're tough on him in the training pitch.
I don't like his in some situations his arrogance.
Yeah. Maldini.
That's why I called him Maldini sometimes. Yeah, because he's not, of course. Yeah, he has
not yet.
The development he will never be. Yeah. The development he made is so gorgeous, so marvelous. Yeah, he stepped in there, was not a regular starter, became a regular starter, was playing on a very high level. But a player like him, he needs to be always between 98 and 100%. Yeah, if like last week he thinks, yeah, but someone wrote, I will go to Werder Bremen, so 92% might also be enough, and the other 8% will be done by my name or by the club. Then it's going in the wrong direction. Yeah, I'm telling him permanently. They don't like it, and 100% in a few years when he's playing, maybe in the Bundesliga or in the Premier League or wherever, then he might remind himself. But then he maybe remind himself. I mean, we all agree that he's not a God-given ball handler. Yeah, but he don't has to be. Yeah, he has other outstanding qualities, and one of the biggest qualities is his mentality and his reliability. So if I want to rely on you, then you should perform that every day, every game day.
And where is his shortcomings? What do you see he can when he trains in a badly way, as in your perspective, or in the game? I also read that in the Vejle game on Sunday, you were not that happy with him as well. Is it the arrogance? Can you tell a little more about that? Because is it some?
But of course he has a quite good guy in his close surrounding who can tell that as well. But he's his father. Yeah, that makes it a little bit more complicated. In some situations, his speed of decisions is easy to see that is slowing down when he's not in place. Then he wants to play the very perfect situation, no matter how the situation is looking. He needs to prepare all passes in the midfield by receiving passes in the right position at the right time, created by another guy. If he's dribbling into these zones, trying to find a through pass like Maldini did, then he knows why I call him Maldini, not for the reason that he plays like Maldini. And again, I love him. Yeah, he's the prototype of young players I would like to have. He was investing before he was expecting. Yeah. Some of the other guys here, they were expecting before they were investing.
So I guess you're hoping that the guy who wrote that Werder Bremen story is wrong, that he will stay here.
I think it would help all of our young players from this year to stay another year, because we saw it especially in the matches where the whole team was struggling. They were also struggling massively. Yeah, talking about Mac, talking about about Max Eidum, talking about Julius as well, and to creating a more massive foundation for these situations. How can I handle these situations now better? Is it that I have to stabilize the team, and then my performance will show up or will get better, or do I have to focus on my own performance, and then the performance of the team will automatically be lifted on a higher level? To have this knowledge, they need maybe a little bit more time with also more freedom. We will not take them immediately out, but I can totally understand, like we do as well. Yeah, when I was 34 as a coach, 33, I thought I know everything about football. So they right now think we are there, we can go there, and it's almost impossible to convince them to do something different. And if it's not in their core that they should follow maybe the experience from somebody else, then they should find another solution, because otherwise they will not be happy here next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, as you know, we need to make money.
Yeah, of course.
It's an issue, of course.
Yeah.
That would be perfect for a commercial now, no?
I'll just wait a few minutes with that. But talking about the training, the training environment, do you think this? Maybe I start another place. Peter was talking to Oliver Lund, a former OB player in the back in the days. He went from OB to AGF Aarhus, and he told Peter when he came to Aarhus there was much more. What can you call it? More demands, more professionalism, more toughness.
Yeah.
What is your experience now? You've been in OB 1 year. Do you think there has been a lack of demands and professionalism in this club regarding the way?
I think we need to be careful with where do we see ourselves. Yeah, is it really everything around top 6, or is it not? Yeah, and Niels is giving his heart and a lot of money for this club. Yeah, and I mean, maybe in some situations, I think maybe he should have more support from other guys as well. But I said it before already. Yeah, I think related to training pitches, relating to environment, we are not. If you mention AGF, we have been there in the friendly match. That is another level. Then we can easily say, okay, that's AGF, but we cannot permanently just say, we are in about on the same level, or we are a little bit above them, so we should automatically create more results out of that, these possibilities. Yeah. Again, not looking too much back into the past, but I can just analyze with my football knowledge that also when I'm stepping here inside, the expectations are right now bigger than what is given. Yeah, what is the foundation therefore? There we still have to work on.
Okay.
Yeah, because when I was in this club for 25 years ago, when Troels was a coach, and on the training camp, people were hurting each other on purpose. They were training like we here in Denmark, like a Bundesliga team, where the one guy wanting the other position were really tough on each other, and it has been a DNA thing in Odense. Toughness and Richard Møller-Nielsen and tough, a little bit crazy players, and then we had a transition in the zeros, and when we had a lot of foreigners here, and maybe we old guys, the burnt child, we sometimes when we look at the training, not yours specifically, but sometimes I lack the asshole on the pitch. Do you like that, the Bundesliga?
I'm quite sure in yellow and yellow red and red cards we are not in the front line in the league. No. So you could not say that we don't have these hard playing football players. But on the other side, we are old enough to talk about the past. But usually when if the young guys would listen to us right now, they are listening in the same way like we were listening to our fathers and mothers. Yeah, please not talk too much about the past. Things have changed. Yeah, the having players for 10 years in one club is almost impossible. When they were playing tough, there was not Stemmer for Ådalen permanently looking in every training session what will happen and communicate it to others. These being in the public focus was doing something with the sports also.
Exactly.
And we're also curious about your training, the way you plan the training week. Because of course, we don't see every training. But we have noticed a new thing in OB with you is these days, oftenly 2 days before a game, with football, tennis, and not Laufparcours, but you have some. You look like team building things. We haven't seen that before in OB. Almost.
Me either.
No.
It's not something I prefer. Okay. Yeah, but it's something I need to accept that.
Okay.
The high loading in the 2 days before usually needs a super compensation to have the players ready at the game day, and the feedback from the players, also the data, showed us that from a physical point of view, the performance on the game day was never a problem. And some of the guys never trained in the way we are training usually. So that is one tool. We need to have a close look inside. Do we maybe have possibilities to extend the ceiling a little bit to create a few more percentages in everything? But we will see. It makes no sense to still put pressure on them and train like in the old days, and expect the result.
Alex, because we, as a fan and looking from the outside, we don't have your data set and your knowledge of the data. Can you just tell us what is the status of the players? Have they been more physical fit? Have they been making more high effort runs or high pressing runs? And
we are
all the
again within the top 3, within the top 2 even in the pure running data. We are lacking in high speed runs and in sprints, but even there we improved throughout the second half of the year. This is related in some situations to game style. This is much more related to players' DNA in general. If you have sprinters, you can use them in sprinting. If you have players who are good in endurance, then you have more then you are increasing more the endurance runs. So in general, we are very fine with the numbers, but we do not have the numbers in the high intensive actions in the sprints also.
And just for understanding, a team like Aarhus this year, do you know which data points do they hit very good this year, or was it just interval quality?
They were good in the sprints as well, but I congratulated them for the victory. But I'm not very much interested in Aarhus. Yeah.
No.
Okay. Now I will make a new commercial in Danish. Inden vi går videre, tak til Fynske Bank. De er fans af Fyn, og det er vi jo også her i Stemmer fra Ådalen. Vi vil gerne kåre månedens fan, og vi tager imod nomineringer på martin@obstemmer.dk. Kom med jeres gode historier om fodboldfans fra Fyn, så siger vi tak til Fynske Bank. Ja. And the last topics we will discuss with you, Alex, is of course looking a bit into next season, but also a few questions on your own time in Denmark. You have been away from Denmark some years. You come back now. In general, from a Arsenal personal perspective, how has it been for you to be back here this last year?
There are a couple of things that were influencing the possibility to compare things. The first time I was here with the family, not now, that has an influence. I was in the Copenhagen region, now I'm in the Fyn region. The way the city fits to myself I think I can say that's a perfect match. This is the
Odense.
Odense. This is the size of city I prefer. Some people know me, and also they show it that they know me, but it's not like I cannot go out. I like the number of possibilities to be at how is that small lake called? Munkemose, yeah, sitting there reading a book, having the time for myself. Danish people are in general simply, that is a total match. I like them. I said it a couple of times now. The women are simply pretty, unfortunately, the guys as well. Not talking so much about the two of you, but
No.
but the average Danish.
We get it.
With all the respect, okay.
Yeah.
You're criticizing me so often during the year, so
it's okay.
accept that.
Yeah.
But the way people are talking to each other, getting in touch with each other, that is simply lean back, respecting that everybody has his life with his strength, but also with his weaknesses, but also are more orientated on my life is good, but my life will not get better if I'm analyzing your life. Germans are really world leader. And so I like it. Close to there is I don't want to make too much commercials out of it, but there's the Anchor out in Kerteminde, a little restaurant with a marvelous rejer bread or whatever.
Shrimps,
Shrimps bread. I like some of the Olivia's Malklubben. We experienced now also 3 more bars. My agent was here last week. That was not the reason for the defeat but I like it. I like the people, how they are. My neighborhood, even though I don't know a lot of them. It fits to me. But of course, that not having the family with you is influencing a lot.
Okay. Yeah, because we are of course curious, and I think many fans are hoping that you will stay here long. OB have changed coach a long time, so I guess somebody would be nervous. Could you, if you got an offer from the second Bundesliga or the Bundesliga again, or you miss your family too much? You were in Cypern 14 months. You were in Greuther for 2 years. So is there only 1 year left now in Odense? How do you see the future for yourself?
Let's finish this year. I think if we could finish this year, then it's still more than the average in Danish football, right?
Yeah.
Where is it? 14 months or something like that? Yeah. So I'm trying to have a respectful and good relation to the most decisive guy here, that is Niels. Also giving him the impression that we are taking care of his money and that we are dealing carefully with his money and developing things where he, because of good reasons, was doubting in a lot of things in the past, and that is his right. I created again a very good relation to Truls again. He has another job here than he had in Brøndby, and in Brøndby he was more my sparringspartner in the daily business, because here he's responsible for a lot of things, not only the men's football department. I love to be with the players. I love to continue working with something. What I almost everywhere did, even though I was not successful in Stuttgart, but I want to leave footprints. No matter where I was, when I'm going now to Cyprus, they are happy to see me. They are celebrating. When I'm coming to Brøndby, of course, maybe because we lost against them, but they still, some of them still think that I'm an okay guy. I'm not planning to go somewhere. Yeah, but of course, if you want to be sure, put one of these beautiful Danish women next to me. That would make it much easier.
That's a new task for the listeners. Okay. Last time we had finding you a home, and now it's it's a nice girl.
That's right.
Yeah, we will do our best.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if let's talk football again, but if OB is going to take the next step next season, what would be the most important thing to improve?
I think next year it's also important to fulfill the promises we were creating. Yeah, you were talking about harvest.
Yeah.
I think it would be difficult to explain again, hey, the process is still going in the same direction. So there need to be some kind of results, and we know that. Therefore, we need the right changes also in the players. I mean, Leroy is a very good football player, but both of us, Leroy and us, we decided that we will we will not extend the contract. We need the right players that is related to playing style, that is also related to personality. We need also people, I wouldn't say only players, but people who want something in their career. Yeah, I know how to win, unfortunately not with Brøndby. I know how to win national championships. I know how to win cups. I know how to win, how to be promoted. That is luckily not necessary.
No.
Yeah, I know I'm a guy who is able to win things, and we need more of these players, because then they will know. Now I will get the yellow card coming back to playing tough football. Yeah. Now I will get the yellow card for a reason, and not for being personally touched because somebody is maybe calling me an asshole on the pitch. Yeah? We need to make better individual decisions based on being successful. If I think there's a close connection between socializing and being successful as a football team. But they can leave, if they make their regeneration program and so on, Ådalen after the training, if they performed before on the pitch. Yeah, they don't need to be friendly related to each other. No. They need to do their fucking job. Yeah. That is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. And do you see I know it's the transfer window is open.
Let me just shortly.
Yeah.
We need to do our fucking job.
Yeah.
It's not related to the players. We are creating something. Yeah. But this is not let's create a nice environment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody wants something with being nice.
No. And my point is do you see how do you see the season in your perspective? Do you see Odense producing a season like Viborg Sønderjyske did this year, competing in the top 6, not competing for a championship? Can you see that the group you know will stay and maybe people coming in?
There were already some quotes about top 6. Yeah, I mean it will be difficult to make it a successful ongoing process. Like I said before, when we say let's keep the 8. That is not our goal. No. But of course, it's related to who will be here next year, and with what mindset. Yeah, what can we create around? Can we develop everything? The sponsoring, the attendance in the stadium will be difficult because of. But also this will be the most obvious sign. There is something going on in OB. Yeah, we are creating something. Maybe we will not get the reward there for next year or in 2 years. Maybe not in 3 years. Yeah, everybody thought, and is still a nightmare, that we lost against Horsens the championship in 2018. But I think 2 or 3 years later, they won the championship. Yeah. So you never know what is it good for. No. But you need to be massive in your development process. You need to accept setbacks. You need to make a conclusion out of the setbacks. You need to still move forward.
Yeah.
And regarding that transfer window, I guess you have a wish list, and I guess you don't want to tell us about it, but can you just... Troll said maybe 4 players more. What do you think about that? Is it more than 4 you want to get
we'll
in?
See. It's important that we have the right squad afterwards. Yeah. Everybody knows how many players we lost.
Yeah.
We are very clear internally what players, what positions should be developed. That is the task of the club right now.
And I guess of course all clubs are busy with doing that, but you're meeting here again or in 1 month already, and so do you hope to have new players already there?
No, I do not hope. I expect it.
Expect it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it will be, and it is a players' game. So we need to make sure that we are also the players we have here, that we send clear signals. Hey, we want to go in a direction. Yeah, you cannot always have just expectations. Yeah, be part of these process, and therefore we need the right players. That is a clear task.
I guess we have time for one more question. And then we're finished.
The clear question in my head is your footprint, your legacy here, because one of the things I really like about you is that when you came here, you pointed out some of my talking points as a burnt child. Why do we have only one grass pitch? What is this house about? Where's the ambition? Where's the all the things lacking? And they have been lacking like since the 90s. They have been behind some of the clubs we compare us to. Do you still can you leave that behind now, or do you still have that in the next season? Because pushing the club.
I will never stop pushing.
Yeah,
I will never stop pushing. But we have these talks also, and then of course I would like to have a gym with 300 square meters. Yeah. Then we're talking about the gym, and then I got the information also. Yeah, but years ago when they built it, they said this one is fine. So it's always related also to the experts at that time whenever they are here. I can just say, to fulfill the expectations of everybody here and the hopes also of everybody, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's depressing end to it. But that's how can you manage your own expectations to achieve and to perform when you know there's so much lacking? I don't say everything's lacking, but there's some things 5% off, 10% off.
Yeah, but you can
because
expectations should not be an excuse.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it is crystal clear when we are entering in 4 weeks, then there will not be 3 brand new ground heated grass pitches. Yeah, it's an ongoing process.
Yeah,
and maybe we will not take the reward for it or the benefit out of it. Maybe it will be another coach and another team in 3, 4, 5 years. I can just say, if we will continue on that level, then it will be not good enough. And everybody is aligned about that. Yeah. Okay. Everybody, Enrico, Niels, the board, Truls, everybody is aware of that.
Okay. That's a new thing.
There were decisions made in the past because of whatever reason. Yeah.
Okay.
It would be. It will be an ongoing process to develop things, and we can also not say there are maybe 10 topics we have to change. We will change them all at once. Yeah. We need to make step by step.
Yeah.
Okay. So, speaking about footprints, as the last question here, when your time at OB eventually comes to an end, whenever it's in 1 year, 2 years,
you're talking about that now the second time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have 2 questions now about me ending the time here.
No,
Do you want me to go away? No problem. No problem.
I'm curious.
I will go now 4 weeks. So use the time to regenerate, guys.
But what would you legacy? What do you hope or expect to be your legacy in OB in 10 years?
I want to win a title.
Yeah,
that's a good way to.
That's a better way to end. Yeah,
yeah, and so easy to say.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and there was no coach. There were some coaches who were brave enough to say it. Also, there was no coach who didn't thought about it. I'm quite sure when he was here in OB in the last years.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think the mindset, if you apply to play in the Super League, why don't try to win it? I know it's not that it's an easy thing to say, but the mindset must be, as you have many years of experience in the Super League. Any team can win anywhere. we don't play. It's not
on
like
any given Sunday you can win.
it's not like Burnley in Manchester City or something. It's you have played a tough game with the champions. You have lost only one time to FCK. It's and we lose to Silkeborg of all teams. So there's always an opportunity.
Yeah, but also doing something good once is not a problem.
Yeah.
Repeating things is another problem, and that's what I heard also this morning in a sponsor meeting from Truls, that there was never more money in the league than nowadays. Every team is pushing up their possibilities. Yeah, first of all, also next year, second year, don't have something to do with the relegation. And then make step by step.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Last commercial, inden vi runder af. Tak til Lokalbolig også, den lokale ejendomsmægler. Det er Oliver, Søren, Anders og alle de andre eksperter, der sælger eksperter i at sælge boliger på Fyn til fattig Lokalbolig. Yeah. And now, let's wrap it up. Alex, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you guys. Enjoy the break. Yeah, everybody out there as well. Thanks for the support over a very long period. Yeah, and if you see me in the coffee, just show up and say hello.
Okay. Yeah. Great, thank you.
Especially if you're a nice-looking girl.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone for listening to this program. Thank you to our partners, and thank you for you, Peter, coming here also. And we will have more podcast in the next days from Stemmer Fra Ådalens. Tak for i dag.
Det er noget, man drikker.
Har I oplevet noget lignende? Jeg har sgu ikke det.